How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout. I'm your host, FaZe Crypto, and I think that this is a good time for us to start talking about the future of what we can be expecting from TRON TRX, because before, in recent videos, we've talked about the founder, Justin Sun. We've talked about how the TRON, really the ecosystem is going to be functioning in the future, and especially how a lot of the things that TRON has been integrating into their system. Well, we're going to be seeing that sort of idea mirrored across the board. I think that TRON's really a leader as far as when we look at the things that are happening under the hood, as far as coding. I think that the team that's working on TRON is definitely going to be one of the most interesting cryptocurrencies as we turn the corner now into 2019. It's amazing how quickly 2018 went by, but I mean, that's the thing with you know, the years, they just seem to be flying by so quickly. And you know, in terms of that code concept, I'm actually going to be including a link to this video because this video is awesome. I mean, it's almost an hour long for those of you who are really interested in delving in and talking about you know, the code and in that sort of interest of that line of you know, conversation. These are some really interesting resources that these guys go into detail here. I'm not going to rehash their video here because I've got my own stuff to talk about that been viewer suggested. But in the interest of sharing different you know, opinions and stuff, go and check out this video. I'll include a link to it, link in the description. But Tron, when we talk about the news, obviously we've got to move past the regular old you know, things that we hear. But like, you know, the things that the news is always trying to rehash, and the regular old clickbait headlines that we find. I'm not going to say that I'm completely absolving myself from clickbait. I think clickbait's necessary to a certain extent. But then again, I mean, we're looking at this article right here. We live in a headline culture, you know, definitely the culture of the internet, the headlines. But when you talk about the decentralization aspect of TRON, and then something else that I think that definitely ties into this is the current situation as far as when you want to talk about the internet and how essentially the beginning stages of the internet gave us this functionality aspect that was completely irregular as far as the way that this sort of functionality, when we want to talk about what TRON brings to the table. Now I think that that's something that would be a lot more along the lines of something that's being discussed in the you know, the consciousness of all these different things. So you look at all the different exchanges that TRON's listed on, and you have to take into consideration the accessibility of these different technologies. This is one of the fundamental reasons why I've always found it important to stress to people the importance of advocating for your own specific chosen technologies to be you know, listed on the more prominent exchanges, so that it has that accessibility factor. Because you know, when it comes down to it, you know, clickbait articles aside, this one would be another interesting example along that front to further establish that point. You know, the coin telegram, crypto markets see mixed signals. I mean, it's not all that clickbaity when you take into consideration this can be sort of, anybody could go. I mean, I could sit here and I could easily make a video about how the mixed signals of the crypto market and try to stir up ear of uneasiness, but I like to basically have more of a biased perspective and not necessarily get my own opinion all wrapped up in you know, these different things, because for all intensive purposes, these things have been moving sideways as far as the overall market capitalization goes. Now, whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, predictability has its place, of course, and unpredictability as well. And of course, the market does stay relatively volatile. But what does this mean for a technology like TRON developing itself in this current climate? well, I guess we'll have to talk about that. And that's something that's really a point that really ties into the founder of the technology and where we could be expecting Tron to actually be having real world applications. This is something that I bring up time and time again, and I think that it's a point that really never fails to interest me. And this is the conversation that's fully connected at the hip to what we talk about as far as the accessibility, not only accessibility, but also use cases of these different technologies, and where we actually see people in the real world using these different technologies and so forth. So Bitcoin has its place. I would say Bitcoin's definitely done a great job marketing itself to this point, especially when you take into consideration a lot of these different variables, you know, in the current present state of this paradigm, especially when you want to look at the fact that we're going over basically a technological shift right now where things are going to be more digital, and all the way across the board. I mean, people want to talk about money becoming digital, which is certainly a good and valid point and something that's interesting to bring up, but at the same time, the entire reshaping of the way that we look at the functionality of the social media platform and all these things is something that I would say it would be criminal to unnoticed, to not notice these different things. And I think it goes without saying, you know, there are definitely a lot of different variables that Justin Sun is bringing together. You know, Tron reaches 4 million block height. This is something that's always recent. I mean, 33 minutes ago this tweet came out. You know, obviously in the overall context of the internet, it's sort of old news by now, but still, I mean, this is big stuff. I mean, big developments that are happening as far as Tron is concerned. So, and I want to talk about the community and how Tron has essentially been leveraging. I mean, from San Francisco to Beijing, Tron has been really you know, making its headway. And I think that the fact that the community has come this far, you know, basically Tron TRX records new breakthrough spaces, Ethereum you know, this is definitely really interesting stuff. I mean, when people look back at the development of crypto that was happening at this point in time, I think that they'll definitely have to come back and look at this video and talk about the different things that are happening with Justin Sun in particular as we look forward to 2019, 2020, and all these things that are poised to happen in terms of partnerships and the Tron timeline. So all in all, Tron's definitely an interesting crypto to be paying attention. Now, I'd say even if Tron's not your favorite cryptocurrency, I'd want to stress the importance of paying attention to what all the different cryptos are doing. It's not like if you're interested in one crypto, all the other ones are going to go away. The fact of the matter is that it's a delicate ecosystem that we have here. You know, Tron currently being in the number 11 position. Realistically, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what Justin Sun's going to bring forward to us. You know, in particular, when we've talked about earlier on this channel how he's one of these really modern celebrities who pretty much he puts every idea that he has out there. But I think that this is good. I want a cryptocurrency to have a founder that has an idea of how the internet works, you know, and how you know, the modern celebrity is going to be functioning in the future. And I think that this is definitely interesting. You know, other celebrities who've caught on to this sort of thing, you know, it's definitely interesting to see. But I think that especially what Tron aims to do and the amount of responsibility that they're basically going to inherit when and if and how they succeed, the fact of the matter is that we want you know, the internet to function the way that it's supposed to. I think that this is definitely a good sign, and I'm pretty sure that we could definitely be seeing some interesting things being built on the foundations that are being established by what Tron's doing. But of course, remember, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. You know, this video is for you know, it's obviously just like I said, for entertainment, education. I'm not your dad or anything like that. This video is not advice, but you know, all that being said, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and of course make sure that you follow Justin's son on his Twitter, and of course make sure that you comment down below and let us know what you think about the developments that have been happening so far, and of course how we can be seeing these developments culminating in terms of the conversation that is interconnected with regulations and things that are happening all around the world. So your comments are definitely really interesting to us, because you're somewhere in the world that's completely different from everybody else, and your perspectives definitely really important in piecing this whole thing together and really ironing out an understanding of what's happening. So I mean, not everybody's opinion is what I would say correct, but I mean, listening to even listening to people who are wrong can sometimes be advantageous. Obviously I wouldn't recommend it. It could be a waste of time, but at the same time I think I can learn something everywhere I look. But remember to have valid sources, of course. Avoid tomfoolery and so forth. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Tron and BitTorrent bring forward to us, and I'm running out of time now, but all that being said, definitely go and check out this video right here, and obviously the link in the description, or you could just continue watching videos on this channel. Whatever you want to do. Have a good day.